No, that's interesting. One thing I wanted to cover too was I once met a guy who was very high up in trade in China. And he said, and I asked him about bribery around the world, right? And how did they bribe, how were politicians bribed in China? And he said it was like this. They would come over and visit, someone would come over and visit, maybe it's the mayor of the town, or somebody who's a mid-level bureaucrat. I don't know if it's mayor or what they call them. I don't know what that was called, but they'd come over and it'd say, gee, that's a nice bicycle. I really like that one. Okay? And that was your hint to accidentally leave it over at their house, leaning against the wall for them to ride. And that was how it worked. It was never an ask, it was a roundabout way of doing it. Now,
And that's the subtlety of the communication. However, some of it's not that subtle.
No.
And we see some of it in the trades, and some of this can be very, very dangerous. Because in our trades, we have mandatory inspection requirements for certain kinds of things, such as electrical, plumbing, heating systems. These things, if they go wrong, construction itself, if they go wrong, the consequences can be very serious.
Right.
And there's many a building inspector in this country that can be bought off for a bottle of whiskey and or a little bit of cash, so you don't have to comply with the bylaws. Because after all, once the drywall goes on, nobody knows what's underneath it, and it may never ever show up within the working career of that inspector. And he can, if it goes far enough along the road, he can't even remember who that inspector was, if there's any record at all as to who was sent around to inspect it. Nobody keeps records forever.
Sure.
Furthermore, they can always say, well, it wasn't that way when I looked at it. However, that can be checked with forensics today. That has advanced a lot further. So we have building inspection.